vast radioactive environment, in the eternal dark of the underground, at unattainable altitudes. Kazakhstan's vast lands attract researchers and explorers, and our filming crew are no exception. The end of the year is not far off. In 2016, our team has covered tens of thousands of kilometers and visited dozens of cities and cool places. We were witnesses to dozens of stories with unexpected turns, like the one in Pavlodar region, which laid the foundation for the new phase in modern archaeology. In July 2016, a group of archaeologists found a chariot in Pavlodar region. From the very beginning, it was deemed unique, as it was the first such find in Kazakhstan. We were excavating an architectural structure and found ruined remains of a gravestone made of bricks. Later on, beneath it, we found a carriage, a widely known nomadic symbol. The chariot rested on top of bone remains of two people. Not to damage them, it was decided to take artifacts from the ground using the block method and scan them using X-ray and tomography later, as this new technology allows getting a precise 3D image of the insides of an object without touching them. It was really exciting and unexpected, if I may. After scanning the soil block on the tomographer, we actually saw what was inside of it on the monitor, although it was still buried inside. It was unbelievable. This is not the first time that the scientists use this unique technology and approach. 3 years ago, the mass media peppered with information about the burial found in Orja district, the tomb with the remains of a young girl discovered at a road construction site. When we opened the burial, we saw some sort of a sarcophagus there made of stone plates. Interestingly enough, it was not filled with soil, which is a very rare case for the archaeological science. As a rule, burial chambers in our area are filled, so to say, sealed with soil. It was all there: various containers, golden earrings, funeral ceremony articles, and the bones of a sacrificed animal. Outside the crypt, the remains of a presumably slave of the person buried inside the sarcophagus. Some scientists believe the slave was beheaded, whereas others claim that the poor fellow's hands were cut off. The thing that surely got the attention of all scientists was the magnificent headdress, generously decorated with gold, the reason why they started calling the girl the Orja princess. We found another grave right nearby. It was also very interesting. There were coins in it, here and there. It appears that all the graves were dug for one purpose and at the same time, as the artifacts are located on approximately the same depth in different graves. But the grave that I'm talking about was empty, meaning there was no human skeleton there. There were bones of sheep, or maybe ram, all over the grave. So it seems that the other two graves were dug in addition to the principal one. They were used as ritual graves to hold animal offerings. This may shed light on burial ceremonies used at that moment of time in this area. As soon as we started cleaning the artifact, we saw something very interesting in the head section. It looked like the remains of a hat with golden applications. Although we were in the very beginning of cleaning it, it was rather clear that we found something unique. Its shape was extremely similar to what they had found in the Issyk burial mound. Little background. In the 1970s, during the excavation of a barrow close to Issyk, they found the first golden man. According to scientists, Tamiris, the queen of the Masagitai, also wore a similar headpiece. However, we shall not be satisfied with assumptions and will go to Almaty to see the artifact with our own eyes. My dear friends, we're almost there. I'm in Almaty and approaching the inner sanctum of archaeology, where all secrets are revealed. Hello, may I come in? But of course. Krim Altenbekov is a famous artist, restorer and researcher, as well as the founder and head of a research and restoration lab. Krim Kasinkanovich was one of the first to work with the princess after her discovery. He and Timur Smagulov make a really good team. It was not the first time when the fruitful cooperation of these scientists allowed not only to shed light on the past, but also gave the future generations of researchers a chance to study things which cannot be investigated today. With some of the artifacts, we have been working for 15 years. For example, the princess that Smagulov had found. Many years have already passed, but we are still in the very beginning. These walls have seen restoration and coming back to life of several thousands of archaeological finds in Kazakhstan. For years, the staff of the lab, true professionals of their trade, have been performing complicated works related to preservation, restoration and reconstruction of historical and cultural monuments. The Golden Man, the horses of Barrel Barrows, the Sarmatian chief, the Sarmatian priestess are only a few among the list of most unique historical artifacts which you and I can see thanks to their committed work. Time always plays against us. Time destroys things. Therefore, we have no right to stop and have to continue working day and night. How many projects are you working on at the moment? As far as I remember, more than 50 items are in the works presently. Every artifact requires a unique approach. For example, some of them require tests or adaptation to current conditions in a special box. Whenever sit around, there is always something to do. The recently found Kimak chariot is one of the numerous items the scientists are working on now. Not to mention the princess that got everybody so excited. The method of withdrawing the artifacts from soil, developed by Krim Altenbekov, makes this research truly unique. His lab is the place where, after careful transportation from the excavation site, intriguing historical monuments acquire a presentable look. The lab allows us to do many things. Here we have all the necessary equipment in proper conditions, allowing us to preserve and work with the artifacts without damaging or destroying them. There is special equipment for just storing the articles when we need time, for example, to design a technology or a set of tests. We can X-ray artifacts to decide what to do first, say conservation or something else. There are different technologies, and so we have to choose which to apply in each given case. The lab allows us to ensure integrity of the artifacts. Drawings are very useful in addition to photos, because any image is taken from a certain perspective and thus distorts the actual situation to this or that extent. When you upload images to the computer, it is hard to say how many centimeters was this stick or that bone. Drawings, on the contrary, provide us with exact measurements, because the archaeologists working on site actually use rulers to measure length, width, depth, etc. First they measure the big burial mound, then the grave itself, which is smaller, then the bones inside the grave, etc., etc. This way we get very precise and scaled measurements of the whole site. Here in the restoration lab, some of the assumptions about the Ujar princess shall be either confirmed or refuted, but some will still remain in the shadows of speculation. Very soon we will learn what the Ujar princess wore and why the restorators decided to leave her in the soil. While our friends are humming over the princess, we shall not waste our time and will try to find something else worth seeing in Almaty. What better place to do that than the mountains? We are still in Almaty in the Butakovka Gorge, where 10 men decided to challenge themselves. During the 3 days of training, they will have to learn something new and become even more durable. Let's see what it's all about. It seems we are on time. Hello. I don't want to disturb you in any way, but we are really interested to see what is going on here. Could you tell us a little bit about the training? Yes, please, come in. Right this very moment, the training participants are undergoing the breakthrough session, where the guys have to work independently. In recent times, various types of trainings suiting any goals, taste and budget have become a widely spread fashion. The protagonists say that such trainings should be an essential part of our life. Others consider psychological trainings, which are becoming increasingly popular today, dangerous. We want to learn what trainings are all about and what benefits they bring to their participants. Here they are, 10 training participants of different ages and professions. Girls cannot be here, but they made an exception for me. In the mountains and far from the city rush, their goal is to spend the 3 days of training gaining new knowledge. Each of them has his own motives. Last year I opened my company and I'm now promoting it as a startup. I want to expand my horizons. I want to look outside my box and learn something new about myself. In the course of the training, the participants will have to walk about 12 kilometers with a heavy load, bathe in ice cold mountain water, go downhill using a cable road and walk on burning coals. What is it? An attempt to prove something to oneself? And how far does it make sense to go? Many people who come here say that they thought they were physically fit, capable of many things, in other words, efficient in all respects. We already had our introductory session. The guys got extremely tired and are starting to realize that they were not as strong and tough as they thought. However, first things first, it is day one. According to the rules, the participants did not have breakfast and will have nothing to eat during the whole day. The guys took their loads in the form of logs weighing roughly 7 kilos plus the backpacks and are heading towards the waterfall to take a refreshing dip. No wonder there are no women around. It is harder to explain to men why they need to grow personally. Another factor is that in order to develop, you have to overcome your ego and recognize your weaknesses. Become a student or an apprentice, so to say, again, in order to learn something new. It doesn't look bad in the beginning. Not exactly a walk in the park, but tolerable. Everyone is going up the hill with his own load and moral burden. We all live in cities now. Life is very quick and thus we're losing our energy quickly too. We're always trying to get it somewhere, say by going out with our friends. In order to have goals and objectives, it is necessary to have energy first. Meanwhile, the energy of the team is going down as they're approaching their final destination. It is the moment of truth, when limits and formalities dwindle and the only thing that matters is the battle inside. Apparently, one of the guys is ready to give up. In all modesty, I can say that it was not easy. I understood that I was not going to make it, and I got rid of my log. Overcoming your personal weaknesses and challenges, this is the most difficult thing in life. Why did we come here? What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Vitaly asked his assistant to take the log when I dropped it and haul it instead of me. When I saw that, I changed my mind and took it back. It was very hard, but we made it. Let's go. This log is something that I hate the most in my life. Overcoming hardships make people closer. A couple of days ago, these people didn't even know each other, and now they are standing here shoulder to shoulder. I am extremely afraid of height. You will make it, come on. This will be a breakthrough for you. Ready? Ready. Did he go? Yes, he did. You have a bruise. It happened yesterday. About 1 kilometer before the waterfall there is a structure where we learned to trust each other. One of us would climb and jump down and the others would catch him. So one of the jumps didn't work out as it should have. One of the guys jumped and hit me on my forehead. It is really cold, but our body has a lot of resources which we don't use. So the first thing the participants of this training understand is that they have a lot of power. Secondly, having done something in the course of the training, they realize that there is nothing limiting them from achieving anything. For example, creating something. Thirdly, they learn to identify and express strong emotions, achieve their goals, work with their weaknesses, as well as get a good understanding of what true discipline is. Thanks to team spirit and support as well as new knowledge, they learn to cross the line, go beyond their own limits. Having cleared both physical and emotional hurdles, finally the participants have made it to the falls. In the next issue, I seriously thought that I could be left behind and freeze there. How dangerous can fire get? But please, do not try to repeat it at home. I didn't believe it myself, but look, guys. It is not only in the mountains where impressive events take place. Some unexpected results of archaeological testing are awaiting us in the Ostrov Krim Research and Restoration Lab. It was not a headdress, but a wig. This decoration was made over a base. At first we didn't know what they used as such base, but the chemical test showed that it was lime of very interesting composition. The question was why it showed on the X-ray, but we still couldn't see anything. What secrets remained in the sarcophagus for hundreds of years? And who was that young lady in the tomb after all? Stay tuned for the next issue of Unknown Kazakhstan.